In the run-up to today, I phoned and emailed a small cohort of us who've remained friends and in touch for what is beginning to look suspiciously like 40 years. And I was struck by two things. First, how Theo's presence in our lives has, in a strange way perhaps, kept us together. And second, how precise and almost sensory and vivid everyone's memories still are. What one called the ominous creaking of the Jacobean chair in the Busby Library, the chalk dust, and that famous wall of books on the desk in front of him, which somehow, a bit like the mask of a Greek or Roman actor, seemed to amplify his presence rather than conceal it. The exact texture of the surface of the hob in Theo's flat, described by one in the not quite Homeric phrase, richly encrusted. For my friend Mark Gibbon, it was the Elzevirs and Incarnabula, those precious shelves of rare books that inspired him to become a collector himself. For Antonio Lloyd-Jones, it was the unforgettable Bon Bibby Bon Bon. Theo's absolutely musical sense. It's been wonderful to have so much music today. His musical sense of the proper cadence and meter and rhythm of poetry that still informs Antonio's translations today. For Francis Fitzgibbon, it was afternoons spent in what he called a world of limitless possibilities. Discussions ranging effortlessly from Aeschylus to Pushkin to Karl Popper to P.G. Wodehouse. For Susie Taverne, it was travelling in the late 70s to Soviet Russia to discover that the exquisite language that Theo had taught her made her sound like a kind of courtly time traveller in a pre-revolutionary world. For all of us, of course, it was that distinctive vocabulary which, for good or ill, has woven its way into the way we all speak to this day, and they must be said today, frankly, utterly, spiel, we've had one of those, echt, stimmel. Above all, though, it was, I think, Theo's values and vision of the world, a sense of ancient literature being alive and full of wonder, and having the capacity still to make the world a better place. You'll see those values in a moment, proudly and defiantly on display, captured by Eddie Mertzhoff's and Jonathan Gillies' observant camera in that famous BBC documentary. As Tom Holt, another of our group who can't be here today, put it to me in an email just this weekend, you can perhaps see Theo as an almost Falstaffian figure, drawing us all into, in Tom's characteristically mischievous words, the temptations of pleasure and sinful luxury, the pleasure of a life of pure intellect, the sinful luxury of devoting oneself to scholarship rather than money and power. I remember Theo coaxing me to love and understand those famous final lines of Pindar's 8th Pythian, and he's always seemed to me a kind of Aiglar Dios Dotos himself, a beam of light in our teenage years. I think he embodied then and now a kind of ideal of humanity and the humanities, nurturing a sensitivity to literature and language, not just as an end in itself, but as a way of thinking and feeling exactly and truthfully about the world and the people and the living things that inhabit it. For that, and for so much more, all of us who were taught by Theo will always be grateful.